Welcome to the White Chair Beauty Series.
Hello.
Today's episode, we want to focus on turning first-time clients into lifelong clients. So getting new clients is exciting, but keeping them, that's where the real money is. Mm-hmm. That's what your focus should be on, is how come they came to me once and I haven't seen them again, or how come they visited me once and now they're coming back 9 months later. Mm-hmm. So your goal is to turn walk-in clients to loyal clients. In our industry specifically, that's where the real money is. That's where you start making your money. That's where you start seeing, oh, my ads are paying off. So that's...
And it's also income that you can rely on. You know that they're going to come in every 4 weeks. Yep. And you're not going to be having to scramble to get new clients or that kind of a thing.
Absolutely. So what's one small thing an esthetician can do during the first appointment to make sure the client feels special?
Well, I do this with all my clients, and that's why I feel like they're loyal. Just in general, I always make them feel comfortable. But if I have never seen them before, I even pay more attention to the minute they walk through the door. There's no uncomfortableness. I feel like I usually try to act like I've known them forever, like they're my best friend. Not an act, but I really truly love people. So I want to get to know them and I want to ask them questions and I want to, just make it feel really comfortable for them, because I've been in uncomfortable situations before and it sucks. You want to just make the client feel really, really comfortable. Yeah. And then, of course, give them the best possible service so that, we've already talked about that, but like the consultation, the actual service. And then,
I feel like you're holding back a little bit.
What do you mean?
Which is, you throw me under the bus sometimes. So
what?
How she approaches it, if I may.
Yes.
She goes into work with a script. So you have your story for the day set up.
Sometimes.
Well, so she'll think of a funny story that happens throughout the week.
Well, no, it's more like certain, of course, I mean, it's funny because I'm just having this girl shadow me this week, and I told the same story over and over again because obviously it's something to talk about, something in my life. People ask me about my life and I'll ask about theirs, but if something has happened in my life, of course I tell the same story over and over again.
So you have kind of a script ready. So it's like sometimes you're like, oh, my husband. You should have seen this weekend. He and I'm like, wow, that was your story for the day. So you kind of go in there with a script, but like, after you say it like 6 times, you kind of like,
but people love it, and also too, because you want to make it entertaining, and also too, what I think is really important is when you're seeing a ton of clients, which I do, a lot of times you think you're going to remember them, but you probably are not. So I always make notes on everybody. Yeah. And I just say,
so that's one thing.
Divorced, 2 kids, just moved to Austin, whatever it is, just so you can kind of, because honestly, people, if you remember them, it makes them feel really special, and it's not that you don't remember
name too.
them.
So if you remember them by name, and if you know their kids' names and in their family, then they'll be like, oh, wow.
And also too, I'm not just like, I actually do have a really good memory with clients. I can remember things. I can't remember my own life, but I can remember their life. But what it does for me is it sparks the memory of it. Because if I don't have a memory of it, like if I don't write it down, then I just won't remember. And so I will look at, Sarah. Okay, who's Sarah? Okay, she just moved to Austin. And then it will spark a memory for me so I can remember them. So it's not just I'm faking it. I really do remember them. But it just helps me put notes on that client so they do feel special, you know?
Yeah, agree.
Yeah. So that's a good way. Question for you. From a business perspective, why is retention more profitable than chasing new clients?
Well, number one, retention. It costs a lot of money when you continuously try to get new clients. It costs a lot of money. Mm-hmm. When you focus on your retention customers, you're not spending money on it. On top of that, they become loyal and they start adding more products, more add-ons. So they start spending more money at your salon. So put it this way. Imagine, okay, I'm going to break it down to numbers. So let's say you have 10 clients come in today and they're all new customers. They're spending $50 at your salon, each one. So it's $500 for the day. So 10 times 50, $500. That was hard. But imagine the cost of acquisition. So when you run ads or you do anything to get a customer, it's called cost of acquisition. Let's say the average in our industry, which the data is all over the map. So I'm going to stick to one number, but it's between $20 to $100 to acquire one customer, depending on industry, the cost of service and stuff like that. But let's give a rounded number that it costs you $30 to get these 10 clients for the day, right? So that's going to cost $300 per acquisition. So you have 10 customers that spent $500, plus minus the 10 customers that you had to acquire for $30, that's $300. So you realistically make $200 for the day. Then you got to put in your cost of overhead, cost of rent, cost of whatever, cost of the supplies, all that. Then you go down to like, oh man, I only made
$100,
$90 today.
Yeah.
Why? Well, I'll tell you why. Because you had to acquire new clients, new customers. So when you focus on retention, then you don't have to worry about that $30 that you have to spend. Now they're just coming back to you and they're just filling up your books, your booking system. So the next time they come, that's why we say focus on 50 to 60% of a retention rate. That's when the real money starts coming in, because now you don't have to pay for acquisition of new customers. And if you do run ads, you're running ads to acquire customers for future dates. So then your book is just filled up.
Filled more, yes.
And then it comes to a point, if you're solopreneur, a solo esthetician, you want to stick that way, you pull back on your ads significantly. And then you just focus on organic growth. So sometimes like, I don't even need to run ads anymore.
Yeah. It's just word of mouth or whatever. If you're retaining all those clients.
When you first started, when we first opened up, we spent money on ads. Then you got booked. And then our mindset was like, should we grow or what should we scale out? What should we do? I don't have to run any ads anymore. So I pulled back on ads completely. $0 a day on ads, making more money. So that's the importance of retention.
Very important.
Very important. Okay. What's the number one chairside habit that makes clients trust you instantly?
I think explaining what I'm doing to them so they feel comfortable, the most comfortable. A lot of people come in, it's just like, anything in the beauty industry, especially like a person's hair or eyebrows or any kind of grooming, that is their face. So you want to make sure that you take care of them and make them feel just as comfortable as possible from the moment they walk in. It's a very personal, one-on-one experience, and you want them to just be at ease, So I would say that's the number one most important thing, because it makes them trust me, especially when I do the consultation, go over the brow mapping, all of that. They can tell I know what I'm doing and they feel confident in me. And, a lot of my clients have had bad experiences in the past. So, to change their mind, it makes them instantly really be loyal to me, and if they have that good experience the first time, they will come back to you over and over and over again. Also, I kind of learned it in beauty school, but they said a client, it's 80% the experience, 20% technical skill. So that's not to say that you shouldn't be good at what you do, but really when it comes to it, a person is going to remember how they felt.
Their interaction. That's why consultation is very important.
Yes.
Right? If you go to if I'm a customer and I go sit down on a chair, and want to get a haircut or anything I'm doing, and they just start hacking away.
Yeah, or they're unprofessional or rude or it's awkward or, the vibe isn't good or it's not clean or all of that is going to make you have a really bad experience and never want to go back,
Yeah, it's professionalism, but consultation.
And also too, like I've even done it in the past where I've gotten a bad haircut and I just leave. She doesn't know that I'm not happy, but I just leave and I will never come back, And a lot of times that's what it is too. People are not always going to complain, but they will take that to heart where they're like, I didn't have a good experience, so I'm just never going to come back.
Yeah. And that's so true. Cause I was watching this Instagram video of the guy was pranking her and he was like giving her a bad haircut, which he's kind of doing in a way where it's not like really bad haircut. And he shows her the after and she's like about to cry. Yeah. And then he waited, I was like, dude, you're making her suffer. Yeah. And then eventually he's like, dude, I'm just joking. She's like, oh my God. She's like, well, but why weren't you telling me?
No, they've done that with, I'm sure everybody has seen it on TikTok or Instagram where they do it with microblading clients.
Yeah.
So they literally make it look like the eyebrows super thick and they're like, oh, do you love it? And people are like, oh.
But that just shows to you that
people a lot of times are not gonna, especially it's uncomfortable to be, confrontational most of the time, especially when it comes to something that is like, I mean, eyebrows, that's like an art, so you're kind of like, most people are not going to complain in the chair. They might complain afterwards, but yeah. So, and that's another thing that you need to be able to pick up on is how people are feeling. So if somebody doesn't seem 100% happy like if they're not smiling from ear to ear and just kind of like, then that's something I need to pick up on and be like, hey, is there anything I can change? Is there anything else you would like? Get to the bottom of it. Because a lot of times people don't feel comfortable actually expressing how they're feeling.
Yeah. Agree. Yep. Phone's ringing. That's part of our business line, but we're going to continue.
Yes. Okay. So what systems can a salon set up to make retention automatic?
I feel like we've done this every episode.
I know.
We usually write our questions down and then we have ChatGPT organize it. So sometimes,
But it's good to go over. I mean,
yeah. So having a system in place, I don't say like be completely systematic, like you should have something in place. So one is a script. So when you should know this one. So when you're checking out a customer, you have a script like, hey, do you want me to book your next appointment for you? Because I typically get booked up. I want you to be able to see me. That's one.
And then also that's like, then in 4 weeks, they're going to come back because a lot of people, they forget.
Yeah, that's one. And then another one will be automated text messages and emails, which I talked about last week. Is so important. If you have not set that up, set it up. Right after they leave, they get an automated email saying thank you. Number one, it asks for review. Two, it says, hey, can you, be sure to, hey, you should book your next appointment because I'm busy, whatever. I will get booked up. And then I have a setup where I put them in a drip campaign. So 3 weeks later, I usually do because I looked at their data points of what's the average time frame someone comes in. And it was between
like 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah, usually like 20. Some customers are 25 days every 3.5 weeks. Some customers are every 5 weeks. So I put it in between it. So I put like 26 day to send out another email saying, hey, it's about that time you need to get your brows done. And that's a top of mind message that goes out. But then you're completely focusing on the retention rate. And then on top of that, once we have a customer's email, we send out email blasts. So like today, actually, we sent out an email blast early in the morning. I usually set it for 9 a.m. That's like the prompt time to do it, either 9 a.m. or evening time. So 9 a.m. before they go to work, or
they're on their phone. They're not working yet. Yeah.
Or evening time after work, they're like, oh, I forgot to set up my appointment. So that's one thing to remember. I do an email blast saying, hey, this is our promo for the month. Our promo for the month is, whatever it is for the month. But that's top of mind. That's focusing on your retention. And the customer's like, oh, I need to book my appointment.
And I get a little discount on something or whatever it may be,
Yeah.
So then they're more liable to book, right?
Yeah. But that's typically, it's not rocket science. I make it, just don't forget to do that.
Yeah.
Some people just forget to do it, or they're like, I don't need to do that. My customers will book with me. They love my work.
Do you know how
it's
many
not about your work.
No.
It's about them remembering.
No, I have so many people that they're like, oh my gosh, I'm like, how long has it been? Oh, it's been 7 weeks. I completely, I don't even know what happened.
Lost track.
Yeah, lost track. People just lose track of time. The fact that it's the middle of September right now, I'm like, what? So people, when time goes by fast, they have busy lives.
Yeah, and don't be insulted. Like, oh, they don't like my work. And down the line, they're like, how come customers know? They just forget. You just got to let them know.
And when you remind them, then they're like, oh, boom. Thanks for watching the White Chair Beauty Podcast. Today we have a 50% off promo code for all of our viewers. Type in the White Chair promo code at thebrowfixacademy.com and get 50% off of all of our classes. These are great tools to enhance your service menu, enhance your revenue, and learn how to do all of these services in-depth training by yours truly, me. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Thanks.
How does aftercare instructions improve on retention?
Well, if you give good, clear aftercare instructions for your services, people will have better results, and that will make them more likely to rebook because they saw really amazing results. If you do a lamination and you don't tell them to not wash it for 24 hours
Yeah.
and they go home and wash it, they're not going to have good results and they're going to think it's your fault. And also that's your job to give good aftercare. So if you don't do that, then they're not going to have the best possible result.
Yeah. Aftercare, I mean, number one, you're giving an informative information to them. So it's a card that,
we have a card
that
which
looks
makes
professional.
Yes.
They're like, oh, wow. And then, they throw the card around somewhere in the house. They'll see it later on. Two is how you present the aftercare card. We put a QR code on there so they can scan it to see more information on the aftercare. Mm-hmm. And then once they go in there, they can put in their email information, and same thing. We put them in a drip kit. Any way we can stay in contact with a customer, do it. Any way possible, whether it's through email, text messages, cards. It's the way you do it. One can just give an aftercare card and it says, hey, don't wash for 24 hours. But sometimes that's not good enough. You want to put more informative information on there, put a QR code on there, stuff like that. What mistakes do estheticians make that accidentally push clients away? That's a really good question.
I think being rude, rushed, not listening. Not listening. Skipping consultations.
That's key for me.
I mean, even honestly, like when I text clients, like we talked about it last week, but our messaging, I try to make it sound friendly, even if I am giving them like, hey, you're late for your appointment. I would never be like, hey, you're late for your appointment, because that puts a bad taste in somebody's mouth. I say, hey, are you on your way? I don't want to rush your appointment. I always try to be the nicest possible, because then they are more likely to be nice to me and they will appreciate the respect. If you can't expect respect if you don't give respect, so
no one will respect you if you don't.
Yeah, exactly. So, and then, even if somebody does come in late and I do feel rushed and inside I'm like, oh my God, my next client's coming in 10 minutes. I still make them have the best experience. I don't want them to feel like I'm rushed, I don't want them to feel like. So I think what I have heard over and over and over again when I have new clients in my chair is my last brow person was rude. My last brow person was mean. My last brow person was, didn't listen. And I'm like, if you're in customer service, you need to be able to talk to people and just treat them the way you would want to be treated, literally.
Yeah.
The old saying.
I think don't treat them like a number.
Yes. Don't
treat them like, oh, this is client number 8 for the day.
Yeah.
You
or like a used car salesman trying to like sell them everything under the sun. Like, if you have product, like
I always send out email blasts to our team members.
Yes.
And I say, hey, this is our goal for the month. I always give them compliments like, hey, you guys are all doing a wonderful job. Mm-hmm. But when I tell them, do add upsells. That's our goal is for upsells for any industry, but don't do it only when it's necessary and you can do it.
Yes.
Don't force it and don't sound like you're pushing it on them.
Yeah. And also people will appreciate, and I think we've touched on this in other episodes, but say somebody comes in and they want a lash lift and they have no lashes and it's going to be a horrible outcome. I would never do that service because it's just going to bite you in the butt in the end. And people will actually appreciate if you tell them the truth. If you do this service just to make the money.
Yeah. I agree.
Then they are not going to come back to you.
Yeah. Just connect with
or want a refund, which
connect with your customers. Don't make them feel like a number. Make them feel special. Just goes back to the first question.
Mm-hmm. Okay, how can salon owners build retention without discounting services?
One thing I did in the beginning, which is I highly recommend salons to do it, is try to get your client's birthday information. Mm-hmm. I send out an email blast, where I just like, hey, we don't have your birthday. And then they quickly fill out the form it comes with. They put in their date, their email, their birthday, month. And I obtain their information, and then you can automate email blasts for each month, like August blast for August emails, because you segment your emails. September, and then when September comes, I'll send out an email saying, "Hey,
it's your birthday.
It's your birthday month. Let's celebrate it." I know the question's like, don't give discounts, but I usually like, "Hey, it's your birthday. Here's $5 off just for your birthday. Happy birthday." It's a nice gesture. So some places don't even do discounts. You don't even have to be honest. It's the thought that counts. Like, oh wow, they remember my birthday. You can even break it down even more and set up segments where it actually goes out on that day of their birthday. I just do it for the month because that's for me, it's just too much work because we have a huge email list that we have. Imagine I have to do that for each one. But I found that to be you connecting on a personal level when you send out an email blast.
And everybody wants to feel special.
Yeah, it's
And
just their
especially
birthday.
on their birthday.
It's their birthday. So that's one way to do it. And then in the aftercare cards we talked about.
We call it a birthday brow.
Birthday brow. What's an example of a client who almost didn't come back but became loyal after you did something different? I can name a few. You're thinking about this?
Yeah, my brain.
Oh, so here's one.
Wow.
So the customer went to one of our brow artists and they got a lash lift, I think. And they didn't leave the formula on for too long, and it didn't curl, too much. Because at our salon we say it's better to underprocess than overprocess, yes. Right? Even though you don't want to do that as well, but just like the worst case scenario we're thinking about. And the client called in upset. Hey, I have to go to this wedding, or I have to go on vacation, and I needed my lashes curled. And you're like, hey, I apologize, for the inconvenience. Why don't you come in tomorrow and I'll redo it and I'll make sure everything's done right. And the client was like, oh, well, yes, and you explain to her why. Like we always say, hey, I think it just needs to be on a few minutes more.
Some people are more resistant.
If we don't want to leave it on for that long because we rather not overprocess it. So sometimes we just make sure so we notate every appointment so we know each time, next time we have to leave it on for a minute longer. And she understood. So she came the next day and you did the service and she absolutely loved it. And, I don't want to say customers' names, but I know because they keep rebooking and every time they book with you. But that's just one story I can say that.
Well, like from myself personally, like say a client, obviously you don't know if they're going to come back to you or not, but I have had like kind of earlier in my career when I worked for somebody else, I would have clients that they came off as very difficult. Like the minute that they sat in my chair, they're just like, do you even know what you're doing kind of situation, And those type of clients, what I would say, you want to kill them with kindness. Obviously, you don't want them to walk all over you. If you know what you're doing, you have to explain everything. Again, make them feel comfortable, explain what you're doing. And those clients, they they're harder they can be harder to please, but they will be loyal forever. Some of these clients I've been seeing for 14 years that were my most difficult clients.
And this is when you say 14 years, this is when you worked for another salon.
Yes. So
wow.
So those clients, they turn into the most loyal. So I would say that question, if I hadn't shown them that I really knew what I was doing or made them feel comfortable, or it's kind of almost like they were like putting me through they're
testing you.
Testing me.
She passed the test.
Yeah, and then I pass the test, and then they literally will come to me forever.
Yeah.
Or
they know you're like, this girl, she has thick skin.
Yeah.
Like if she's going through me with this, imagine
And also I've touched on a little bit in this industry. It is a very personal. And so a lot of times these people they're either sad inside or hurt inside, and you want to make them feel good. Like you're the best. I've had people say to me that touches my soul, really. They're like, Naomi, I was waiting for this. I looked forward all day to seeing you. And I'm like, to me, that makes me feel so good if I can make somebody feel that good, Yeah. So a lot of these people, if they come off as mean or difficult, it's because they might be going through, you never know what somebody's going through. So in our job, that's what it's for, to make people feel good,
Yeah, that's why
and look good.
When someone sits in your chair and they're kind of having a bad day or giving attitude, you don't know what they
you never
their
know
boyfriend could have broken up with them,
yeah.
car accident or something going on with their family. So don't be too quick to judge them and don't
match their energy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Don't mirror them. Don't be the same exact reflection. Just change it.
Yeah.
Figure out a way to how I can mirror a positive
Yes.
reflection from what they're giving me. So
And sometimes I'll do like when I'm doing the consultation, oh my God, you have amazing brows. I'm like, your natural brow shape is, and obviously I'm not saying something that's not, try to pick something that really is
Compliment 'em.
good. Compliment is amazing. So when I'm doing the consultation, I'm like, honestly, you have a great natural brow shape. All we have to do is do this, 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 and this, but you have amazing brows. And they're like, I do? Oh my gosh, and it makes them feel really good. So just those little tidbits, then they'll, and if you're doing it from your heart, like not just like fake or like a script, you're really truly want to make them feel good. They will feel that,
being authentic
Yes.
is,
Yes.
I mean, you should do that. Be yourself every day. So,
Yes. But especially with clients, because people can smell it. If you're just being fake or just want the money or just want the, people will know.
yeah.
If a salon owner wants to double their retention this year, what's the first thing they should change?
The first thing they should change is most of the time, they don't track their conversions. They don't even track it. So if they don't know their numbers, how can they even know what to change? So track your retention rate. It's very important. I feel like I'm just repeating this.
I mean, I know a lot of estheticians that have no idea even what the retention rate is, and they own their own
They don't even know what
businesses.
that they don't know what the definition
They
of
literally
retention is.
don't even know.
You have to track it to compare it to something to change. So if you can't see like, all right, from January, break it down, be an actual business. So look at your quarterly numbers, look at your monthly numbers, look at your yearly numbers. So compare last year to this year. I always do that. I'm like, why are we down 7%? What's going on? How can I change it? Do I need to put more money to ads? Do I need to focus on what we're not doing in our retention rate? Quarterly numbers from January, February, March to April, May, June. Why is my first quarter slow and my second quarter is much faster? Oh, maybe they're coming back from vacation. January is a slower month in the industry. So you start picking these numbers up, this data up as the longer you're in this industry, you figure this stuff out.
And the years go on, then you'll know. You can compare one year to the next year.
And then from April, May, June, then you look at July, August, September, like, how come my numbers in June, July, and August are down from April, May, and June? You're like, back to school,
it's summer,
vacation, and this and that. Then you see more tourists. These are when your retention rate you'll see, why is my retention rate numbers are lower?
Well, we just went through this summer. Like, we were like, why is it? It feels like people aren't booking as much. And then literally, boom, when school started, now we're back normal again.
Yeah.
It just is,
And then we figure that out. And then, so when you look at your data, then you start understanding why. Like, January, February, March, everyone spent their money on Christmas and everyone's broke. Like us. We're like, we can't do anything. And then when February comes, it starts picking up. March comes, and then April you start boom, 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 it's coming. And then June, July, August come, you're like, it's slowing down a little. People going on vacation, back to school. That means run back to school specials. That means we run an email campaign saying, that it's about that time for vacation. Let's make sure you look good for your vacation.
Yep.
These are emails you can do. And then end of the year's quarterly is like usually the best numbers you can get. So November or October, November, December is when you start seeing these numbers. You're like, picking up, and then it's like fluctuates like the stock market. You got to figure out how to keep it leveled.
Yep.
So track it.
Good idea.
If you don't track it, you can't change it. If you can't change it, you don't know. I mean,
yeah,
you're putting yourself
driving blind, basically.
You're putting in your position don't put yourself in a position for failure.
Yep.
That's all I have to say about that. But other than that, like, subscribe, leave us a comment. That's very important to us because we love subscribers.
Do we only have one still?
No. Excuse me.
How many do we have
I talk
now?
so much, my throat is itching. We're at 7 subscribers.
Ooh.
Hey, I don't care about the numbers.
You know what? You got to start somewhere.
As long as we're providing informative.
There's a fox.
Oh, I see the fox. As long as you provide informative information, that's what matters to us. That's that. I think that's the end of this episode. Have a good one.
Thank you.